In an age when the public complains that too many players are dull and self-absorbed, Fuzzy Zoeller stands out as refreshingly different, a lot of fun, and one heck of a player.
You can't mess around today, buddy. You're live. You have to do a good job behind this camera. You understand me?
Want to know what tune he whistles after every happy birdie putt? Call him up tonight and ask him on Golf Talk Live. Welcome to Golf Talk Live. I'm Peter Kessler. While there is an endless list of golf fanatics who would be happy to confirm that golf is very much more important than life and death, Fuzzy Zoeller would not be among them. Fuzzy actually enjoys playing rather than working golf and accepts the bad shots along with the good as part of the game. Like the late, great Walter Hagen before him, if Fuzzy hits a shot into an impossible or unlucky position, he takes the attitude that that's where it is, and from there I shall play. What a great attitude that would be for the recreational golfer on and off the golf course. Fuzzy Zoeller has a way with words. The man speaks as he plays. A straight-to-the-point, spontaneous quipster, a sure shot with an eye for the truth, a heart with a smile, and little time for unnecessary traps, rough spots, or extra strokes. Frank Urban Zoeller gets to the point and to the pin while getting a few laughs along the way. He's been known to make dreams come true for young golf fans, sip a few beers served up from the gallery, and toss playful golf tips and quips to Pro-Am participants. He also was one of the premier players of his time. His playoff score of 67 on Winged Foot's West Course for the U.S. Open against Greg Norman is the lowest round ever achieved by a U.S. Open playoff winner. At Winged Foot, they still talk about his 1984 play in the same hushed tones of reverence reserved for U.S. Open winner Bob Jones on the same course 55 years before. Are you lost, or did you just happen to be in the neighborhood?
I was just walking by, and they said they needed some clown to come on TV, so here I am.
Did you know that 67 was the lowest playoff score anybody ever shot in the Open?
Pete, I really don't. I'm just a golfer. I don't get tied up into stats.
That's why I'm here to help you along.
Well, I appreciate that, but that's good. I'm glad I played well one round out of my life. That's wonderful.
Well, you had to play 4 good rounds to get to the playoff, though.
I did, and we were talking earlier. Not going to kid the folks at home, but we were actually talking, and I said it didn't matter who I was playing that week. I mean, it was my week to win. I was at the top of my game, and I had my confidence was way up. I guess I had all my stars and moons and everything lined up. But it seemed like everything I did that week at the U.S. Open was right.
The birdie that you made in that playoff on 8, rather than the one you made on 2, was, I thought, the one that sort of led to the inevitable conclusion. That's one of the toughest holes in golf, that dogleg right. Jones, when he won, made 7 there in the last round in 29.
Well, it's very easy to do on the 8th hole, but, you know, everybody says that long putt that I made on 2 broke Greg's back, but that early in the round, really, the second hole didn't mean that much. You know, we had a lot of golf to be played, but the putt at 8, definitely broke his back. You know, I made, a 10 or 15 footer there for a birdie, and that sent me up to that little level that I like, which is a 4 or 5 shot lead.
Tell me what you were wearing around your waist that week and what kind of pain you were in.
Well, this all happened before I had the back surgery the first time in '84. I had a TINS unit, and I had 6 pads on my spine and my back, and I had my TINS unit, which I had bought, and I had it turned all the way up, and I was getting zapped all the way to the golf course. And right before I'd go practice, I'd take it off and unplug, and I'd leave the pads attached, but I would be unplugged, and I'd go play golf, and I'd come back, and I'd hook back up, and then I'd lay around the hotel room until it was time to go the next morning.
Now, I figure you've been semi-retired since the time you were a teenager and you worked that one summer in your dad's plant and said, that's it, right?
About 14 when it happened. Yeah, about 14 when I retired. Oh, no, I wished it was like that. You know, Brad Bryan asked me today, he said, why are you still playing the game of golf? You know, I mean, I'm 44 years old, and I looked at him, I said, Bradley, I just enjoy the challenges. I mean, every day you go out there, every day is something different. It's like today, for an example, I hit the ball as well as I've hit it all year, even last year being hurt. I hit it solid, it was perfect, and somewhere between the practice range and that first tee, I lost it. Now, don't ask me where it was. I mean, it's only like 50 yards. I couldn't have lost it very far. It had to be in that area somewhere. But I hit the ball absolutely terrible today. But I scratched and clawed, and I got around at 1 over par. So I was very pleased with that.
Now you know how the rest of us feel. The rest of us lose it from the practice.
I know, but I mean, with amateur golfers, for an example, with myself, I mean, I know my swing pretty well. I was scratching. I was moving the ball up and down in my stance, back, forth. I was scooting into it backwards. I was trying to find it. I'm not going to be miserable for 4.5 hours. I'm going to at least go out there. If I'm going down, I want to go down swinging and trying to find what it was that I was doing right on the practice range. Everything felt the same. It's just when I looked up, the ball was going right, and then it hooked a little bit, and I'm thinking, I was just off. Rhythm in golf and balance in golf, and my balance was just a little off, and my rhythm was just a little quick.
But you're playing pain-free for the first time in a very long time,
isn't that
aren't
great?
you?
That's
Tell us
wonderful.
about the operation.
I got to tell you, folks, if you ever have back surgery, just catch me out, Pete. I went in November. I hurt myself in probably Hartford's where I did it. I was playing with Corey Pavin on Saturday. On the 11th hole, I bent over to tee the ball up, and I felt that sharp pain hit me in the hips again. I stood up and I looked at Corey and I said, "Do you mind if I just wait for 3 or 4 minutes?" He said, "No problem." And I got my bag and I got my pain medication out because I knew I'd had a good one coming. And then I went on and played Sunday. And the people think it's 17 where I hit the ball in the water. I had a weird lie where I had to reach forward. Was the shot that did it to me, but it really wasn't. It happened the day before. I got to Memphis the next week. I hit a driver at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, sweating, 96 degrees. It's nice and warm, and I feel great. I have no pains. I hit a 5 under the first green, and that was my last swing.
Now, you weren't always this easy going, though, were you?
But you asked me about the surgery, right?
Were you going to get to it?
I'll tell you right now. I just had to tell you.
I was going to sort of bail you out and come back to it
but
later.
I didn't. Well, I mean, when I hurt myself, I knew I was hurt bad because I've been through this process before, so it wasn't anything new to me. I went to New York in November after my golf was all complete. And the reason I didn't do it earlier is because I had so many commitments during the year that if I had to go through that 6-month process of laying away from the game, then I was, I had messed up my corporate outings, all my other commitments that I had made through the year. So I waited till the end of November, and I went in. And this Dr. Markov, God bless him, he's unbelievable. I can't say enough about the man. I walked in the hospital on a Tuesday morning, excuse me. I'd just flown a red eye from Greg's tournament, the Shark Shootout. California, back to home, dropped my main part of my luggage off, put an overnight bag on my shoulder, jumped on my plane, flew to New York, had dinner with the doctor that evening. He explained the procedure to me, went in the hospital at 7:30. 8 o'clock they registered me. I changed my clothes at 8:30. I go into the operating room at 9 o'clock. 11 o'clock, I'm standing at the front door of the hospital with my suitcase on my shoulder, ready to go home. And at 7 o'clock that night, I'm at my daughter's basketball game. And people say, now, how do they do that? But what Ralph did, when I left in '84, he said, there has to be a better way to do back surgery. So he developed this method where he took these 2 long probes. Pete, it was the darndest thing I've ever seen. I was asleep maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most of this hour and 15 minutes procedure. 2 long probes, one he stuck in at an angle through my back, down into the L4 where the protrusion was hitting my nerve, and then took another one right alongside of it, all doing it by TV cameras and x-rays, which is amazing anymore. And he just kind of like it was a roto-rooter, he just sucked that disc right away from my spine, pulled things out, put 2 Band-Aids over it and says, go home. And I had a friend of mine that was with me who's in the studio tonight. He said, now, he's a German-blooded, he's very stubborn at times. He said, what does he have to do? And Ralph looked at him right in the eye and said he could play golf tomorrow if he wanted to.
That's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. And I think it took me 6 months to get over the last one. Yeah, so that it was unbelievable. We're
going to be back with Mr. Yup, Nope. We'll see if we can get a better answer out of him right after this break. If you want to talk to him, 1-800-842-9987. In 1979, Zoeller's first tour win in the San Diego Open qualified him for his first trip to the Masters. Despite being 6 shots back after 3 rounds, when Ed Snead bogeyed the last 3 holes of the tournament, Fuzzy found himself in a playoff with Snead and Tom Watson. His birdie on number 11, the second playoff hole, earned him the green jacket in his first attempt at the title. His very long driving, his accurate iron play, and cool demeanor generated respect from his peers and from an enthusiastic public.
Fuzzy, was that one of those putts, the kind that you hit when you're 8 years old and you say, this is for the Masters, this is for the Open?
Oh, Pete, listen, I got to tell you, I made that thing probably 1,000 times or maybe 200,000 times way before I even had a chance to make it at Augusta.
How about the iron you hit in there? One of the great shots of all time. 8-iron, yes?
Yeah, 8-iron. You know, I haven't even come anything close to that. I've hit nothing but 3, 4s, and 5-irons at that hole since. But, you know, you get the adrenaline pumping, and I'm not sure it might hit a sprinkler here, but I was 40 yards in front of these other guys.
And there's, of course, the great 8-iron, pin back left, so perfect
I had
pin for you.
150 yards is what I had, 151 yards to be exact. Right, the pin's in the back left. I was a very right-to-left dominant golfer then. Every shot I hit went right to left. I mean, I'd hook a sandwich 20, 30 yards.
Are you a guy with a sense of history? Does Bobby Jones and the Masters mean a lot to you at that point? And how about when you won the Bob Jones Award in '85? What did that all mean to you?
Well, the Bob Jones Award in '85 meant a lot because it, you know, I was at the bottom of the barrel. It showed that, by golly, my hard work getting back to the pedestal where I enjoy being, which is at the top and playing with the best in the world after having your leg slapped under you and going through a major surgery and everything, the people actually recognized that. That was great. That was a wonderful feeling. But now, as far as the history of the Masters and everything, I watch golf all the time. I enjoy golf. I've been playing this crazy game since I was 3 years old. Old enough to walk and swing, I was playing it. And I'll be 45 in November. But I don't know if there's a better game between man and a silly golf club and a little pimple-faced golf ball, you know what I mean, trying to reach a little hole. That's a stupid game, but what a challenging game it is.
Let's go ahead and talk to our first viewer. We've got
Sure.
Tim from Kentucky on the phone. How are you tonight, Tim?
Just fine. Hey, I'm a golf pro from Kentucky, Fuzz. Pete, I love the network.
Thank you.
I think it's the greatest thing since Fuzzy Zoeller and Ben Crenshaw on the tour.
I will pass that along.
Hey, Fuzz.
Yes.
Just a couple quick things. We've got a mutual friend, and I wondered if you've seen him in a while, Lou Gibson.
As a matter of fact, yes, I have. I saw Lou right on the West Coast out there. He spends most of his time out on the seniors tour right now doing the club repair.
Who is that?
And with the NCAA tournament, you just living across the river. I hope you're pulling from Kentucky instead of Louisville.
Oh, excuse me. Listen, congratulations. I'm glad Kentucky finally beat somebody today. No, but you know, we have to understand, Pete, how it is around where we are. I mean, we have great basketball is it. I mean, they'll tell you our football kind of stinks, but basketball is where we really get our rivalries. Indiana, Kentucky, Louisville. You got to throw U of L in there. We've got some great basketball. Cincinnati's got a very good team. But I must tell you, even though I am a diehard Indiana fan, the Wildcats have the best team this year, and hopefully maybe they can bring her home, or maybe Indiana, Kentucky could be at the final game. That would be wonderful.
Tell me one of the great Bobby Knight fun stories.
Oh, well, we were up at practice. It's been a couple years ago. I'm going to say 3 years ago or something, and that's when these, I can't mention the name of the putter, but one of these weird, odd putters come out, and I'm up with my friends. We're going to go out to dinner with Bobby after practice. Calbert Cheney's in there, and all of a sudden, we just walk in, and Bobby starts ripping Calbert Cheney, you know, and starts yelling my name and ripping Cheney, and all of a sudden, Bobby's 2 assistants come bringing up these 2 odd putters. No, I won't name them.
Okay.
2 odd putters had these rounded looks to them, and Bobby started ripping Calbert about my putting and his play and all this other stuff.
His play being bad, your putting being good?
Well, no, my putting being poor, bad. There was other words mentioned because it's a bunch of men, you know what I mean? So, but I had the 2 putters, you know what I mean? So after about halfway through the practice, he walks back up, and he's still yelling and screaming. He comes up and he says, "This will help your putting." He had this round object that I was supposed to putt with, trying to hit a round object on the green. I said, now here I am taking it from a basketball coach, a lesson. Up here in the middle of practice, they're working on to get to the NCAAs, the Big Ten championship, and I'm getting a putting lesson from Coach Knight. Now this is perfect, right? But he's a great guy.
And ever since then, you putted?
My putting's been pretty damn good. I've got to admit. Yeah, it's worked. It really has.
Yeah, because that's what he's good at. Ron, you're on the phone. How are you?
Hi, Fuzz. How you doing?
Very good, Ron. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Great show you got, Peter. Really enjoy watching it.
Thank you.
Fuzz, I had a quick comment and a question. I'm a big fan of yours, and last year you gave me the thrill of a lifetime. We were down at Augusta, and you pulled me out of the crowd on the par 3 course, number 9. I was the bald man. You never saw me make a putt. I didn't make it that day, unfortunately, but you made me famous up in this neck of the woods, and I plan on going down there in a couple of weeks, looking you up, and maybe you'll give me a shot to try and make that putt again and win you some money.
No, the only way I'll ever do that is, has your hair grown any?
No, but I've lost a significant amount of weight, so like I say, I look forward to seeing you and hoping you'll let me try again.
So you're going to look better on TV, is that what you're saying?
I hope so. You never know. But anyway, you pretty much answered my question about how your back is doing, and you went into the surgery. Assuming everything goes okay, what's your schedule look like for this year?
Well, I'm going to play. I'm going to play in probably 17, maybe 18 tournaments this year. Again, only going according to the way I feel. If I break down again, then I'll cut our way back. But 17 or 18 is a full schedule. Of course, I do mostly a lot of corporate outings on Mondays and Tuesdays, so I'm always in somewhere else. Fly into town on Tuesday night, play the pro-ams, and then play the tournaments. But like I say, I'll go as long as my body will let me go.
I love that schedule. 17 weeks a year. We're going to be right back with Mr. Hard Worker right after this. Don't go away.
The West Course at Winged Foot Golf Club in Merrimack, New York has been the site of a number of dramatic U.S. Opens, none more exciting than the 1984 U.S. Open. At the end of 72 holes, Fuzzy Zoeller and Greg Norman were tied. In the playoff the next day, Zoeller took an early lead, which he eventually stretched to 8 shots in shooting a brilliant playoff 67 to Greg Norman's 75. Norman, as always, as gracious in defeat as he is in victory.
I mean, this is a golf course that when you were 19, you played in the Anderson with your brother. You knew it, you loved it, your kind of golf course.
I had a very good feeling for Winged Foot, Pete. Again, I had good vibes from when I was 19 years old. I remembered the golf course. There's a lot of good things about it. It's set up well for me from the teeing area to the fairway, which I think was a big plus. The bunkering and everything. I just felt very comfortable standing on a tee, knowing what shot to play. And, Greg Norman made the comment down to Raleigh. He feels comfortable there because of the tee shots he has to play, moving the ball left to right. He feels good there.
They don't make golf courses like that anymore. I mean, we've gotten away from...
I think the problem is with architects nowadays, everybody wants to build a monument. You know what I mean?
But monuments aren't fun.
Well, they're not fun. No, they're not fun. And you know what's bad about it? They're trying to build these darn things for guys like myself, a professional golfer. And the professional golfers, hell, they don't pay the bills. And that's why I never could understand why people want to build a monument. Why do you want to build a golf course 7,400 yards that gets maybe 10,000, 11,000 rounds of golf a year? They play a one-time deal. They never come back to it. Why not build something about 6,800, 6,900 that has the character of the older golf courses, the older country clubs, and let people enjoy the game again like it's supposed to be played?
And that's exactly what you've been doing the last few years, and we'll come back to that. DJ, you're on the phone. How are you?
Hi. I'd just like to say I enjoy the show, Pete.
Thank you.
Fuzzy, I'm a 15-year-old from Canada, and I'd just like to come down to the States and maybe play in school. And I was wondering if you had any advice for me.
Well, the main thing you want to do now is remember, being at 15 years old, if you have a teacher, stay with that same teacher. And the reason I say that, every teacher teaches differently. So if you've had a guy you've been with, say, for 5 or 6 years, don't go run off and try to find that perfect golf swing. Golf is a very natural type movements. If you have a natural move for the game, then develop it on yourself and let your teacher kind of give you points to help you through it. But don't go run to 15, 20 different guys looking for a perfect golf swing, because there's no such thing as a perfect golf swing. And keep practicing. I never forget the one comment when I played with Tom Weiskopf at the Insurance Youth Classic when I was 17 years old. I was a long driver. I probably drove it 30, 40 yards further than I do now. Not very straight, not very accurate, but I walked up to him and I said, Tom, I said, now I'm having trouble with my putting. I said, well, what's the key to those 4 or 5 footers? Straight in the eye, he looked at me and he said, don't miss. I thought
Great
that was a
advice.
very wise crack. Great advice. What he's trying to tell me is go back and keep putting them until you make them every time. And that's the thing about practicing. You know, when you practice putt, practice your money putts, which is what we say on tour, money putts. Your 3, 4, 5 footers. Trust me, you make those 3, 4, and 5 footers, it makes the 30, 40 footers look a lot easier because you don't have the fear of God in you that you're going to miss it coming back if you happen to mess up on your first putt.
Or if you miss a green and you hit a bunker shot out to 4 or 5 feet, you're going to save some strokes.
Exactly. You're going to save a lot of strokes.
Joan, please say hi to Fuzzy Zoeller.
Hi, Pete, and hi, Fuzzy.
Hi, Joan.
You know why I'm calling? Because there's so many great guys like you on the tour now that are not being able to continue or hold that together for the next year. And I think there's too much stuff going on in their lives that isn't golf. And I'm wondering if you could comment on that or advise on that for them and for me, because I hate to see people I like go down the tubes because somebody's taken up their time.
Well, Joan, I think you have to understand, golf's getting bigger and bigger, and it does have a tendency to have a lot of chains and a lot of ropes pulling off these players, taking them away from the game a little bit more. I think, you know, the day of the dominant type golfer is gone, only because we have so many good golfers out there. Now, yes, there are guys like myself who have a lot of outside activities that, in contracts that we have to, that we just have to go over and take care of, and it takes a lot away from the game of golf for us. But really, the sport that we play is the greatest. It might be the cleanest of all professional sports, and I can't say enough about our organization. I mean, they're just wonderful.
You know, Arnold Palmer's relationship with his fans is one of the most incredible things in the history of
It's the
sport.
best it's ever been.
But yours is also particularly special. How do you explain your love for them and theirs for you?
Well, Pete, my idea about the people is without the people, I have nothing out there. I mean, it's very boring for me to go out and just stand on the range and hit balls, and that's playing golf on tour without people out there would be just exactly like that. That's no fun. I like to have, you know, I want people to smile. I want people to know that I actually miss shots like everybody else, and I say the 4-letter words like everybody else. I want them to know that I'm just like they are. It's just that every once in a while I do have a tendency to play the game pretty well. So, but I want people to have fun, and I hope that they enjoy the game because it is a damn tough game. It really is.
Was Arnold your idol?
Oh yeah, Arnold. When I grew up, I remember Arnold Palmer standing out there at the Bob Hope, taking that 3-wood, going those par 5s, and I just ate that up. I really did. I mean, you know, if I'd have been a little later on, I might have said Jack Nicklaus, who might be the greatest golfer we've ever seen. But in my era, when I was growing up, Arnold was a king, and in my mind, Arnold is still the king.
Me too. Who's on the line with us? Alvaro, how are you?
How you doing, Peter and Faz?
Doing fine.
Doing all right?
Thank you for calling.
Yeah, my question is, when I grew up golf, one of my best shots I ever seen was you on the Ryder Cup playing against Seve Ballesteros in 1983. And can you describe the shot he hit against you on the 18th hole, the fairway bunker? Because it was quite unbelievable what I thought.
Is that 3-wood from 250 or something?
A 3-wood that only Seve could probably even think about ever hitting out of a bunker. Trust me, I was 4 down after 8 holes, and that's before I had the medication, before I had the surgery. And I was hurting. And Nicklaus, Jack was awful gracious. He was gracious to me. He said, "Do you want to play?" And I said, "Jack, only play me under when I have to." I said, "I am not real good. I can't hardly walk." But I got drawn. We thought we'd put me out first, you know, because I hadn't played. I mean, I hadn't played, and I was sitting there taking all this damn medication to kill the pain, and they put me first, and I draw Seve, and Seve jumps out like he always does, like a bat out of hell. He just birdies here, birdies there, and I'm 4 or 5 down, and I didn't know what was happening after 9 holes. I'm 3 down or something. I won a couple of holes. Then I started getting in my rhythm, and I started winning a couple of holes. And to be very honest with you, Seve's imagination for shots is just unbelievable. I've never seen a golfer have the imagination that this player has. I would never thought of hitting a 3-wood out of that bunker with a big 50-yard banana ball on it to get it up around that green at the 18th hole at the PGA. But yet he did it. And I sit there and I think, how did this man pull this shot off at that time? And I'm sitting there looking at my chops. I'm even with him. I was 5 down at once, and I was even with him. And I thought I had him in the bag and ended up tying him. And it was a half point, and we did win by a half point.
And Nicklaus said it was the greatest shot he ever witnessed.
Yeah, it might have been.
That's saying a lot.
Trust me, it's one of the best I've ever seen because I'm not sure many players would have thought of it.
That's why Seve's Seve will be right back with Fuzzy right after this.